Please. What is up, everyone? What is up, everyone? Let's go live. All right, I'm going to quickly share to the Brown Belts group where I'm going to be answering everyone's questions. All right. What's up, everyone? Michael, Cleo, Mac, T-Roy, Kyle, Chaz, Stephen Ray, Peter, Gabriel, Trevor, Young, Mo, Sean, Gwen, Lisa, Orlando, Cleo, Yulia, Jamie, Osh, Dan. Okay, there's a ton of names now. What's up, everyone? I'm going to be answering questions for about an hour. I'm going to be answering them in the Brown Belts group. What is up? Alright, I think I'm going to just close the Facebook Live. Hopefully not. Alright, Brad, you're the first person to comment on the Brown Belts group where I'm going to be answering questions. I'm going to answer some questions from YouTube until everybody signs on to the student group. Cleo, my day's been amazing. What's up? It's 8 a.m. in Guam. What's up, Jamie? Gina, you found a product. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I muted the YouTube window, Cleo. Thank you. How many students are in your course? There's about 500. Will you take the course down once it hits a certain number? Yeah, Chaz. I mean, I've always said that I'll take the course down when I felt like I was getting overwhelmed and couldn't answer everyone's questions, with the same level of attentiveness and, one-on-one how I always have been, and we haven't reached that point yet. Have you found any products in Canada? Yeah, of course. Canada is basically just a lower volume version of the USA, a lot lower volume. Martin, yeah, I use a purchase order agreement. So I include clauses like if the first inspection fails, the supplier has to pay for the second inspection, just to try to make sure that they actually are really cognizant of quality assurance and things like that. A flash sale on your course would be heaven. Do you think this will happen? Probably not, Salim. But I feel like it's super affordable compared to everyone else's, especially when you consider the actual level of content and one-on-one help and things like that. Just bought the final package yesterday. How do I join the Black Belt group? Danny, there's a link in your fulfillment email to join the Black Belt group, so just click that or message me and I'll get you in. Do you think it's possible to sell jewelry on Amazon? Yeah, it's possible, but it's really hard. It's a $5,000 one-time fee, and you have to have proof of a brick-and-mortar jewelry business. What business model did you start at? I started at private labeling, TDT. What steps should I first take before I'm ready to sell? There's a lot of first steps. If you have your Seller Central account up, if you have your LLC made and things like that, it just depends where you're at. What's up, Kevin? Big fan, brother. Oh, thank you, Cam. Appreciate that. My auto PPC has a high A cost, but when I use the converting keyword into a manual campaign, I get no sales. I only had 7 keywords that sold on auto, though. Yeah, Chaz, sometimes when you create a campaign in manual, it'll basically devaluate your campaign if you don't get the first initial impressions that turn into conversions. So if you create a manual campaign and just for whatever reason people see the ad, click it but don't buy, Amazon basically says, okay, this isn't relevant, and so they stop giving you impressions and they stop serving your ads. So try creating a new campaign with those converting keywords from auto, set bid plus on, and turn it onto a high bid, and use phrase match, and then tell me what happens. Hey, how will Amazon receive my products to ship them? I ship directly from China to the Amazon FBA warehouse. I never use any middlemen. It's by far the cheapest and best way to do it. It's just the first time is a little tough. Do you always have site inspections done? Orlando, yeah, absolutely. You 100% always should. Hey, Kevin, when will you refund the modules if we have already bought the full course? Students Life, just message me. Anyone who ever buys an individual module, whenever you decide to buy the actual course, I'll refund all of the individual modules, no questions asked. What's up with the 250 characters in the back-end search? No, absolutely, it's not true. I tested it and proved it to all of my students that it's not. I'm currently ranking for 625 characters or more in a number of my different listings, and I verified it myself, so I'm 100% sure that that is not true, the 250 characters thing. What places have you been to in the world, Mike? A lot. I just went to Asia for 4 months, and then I just got back from South America. I did Carnival in Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Argentina. In Asia, I did Thailand, Cambodia, all of Indo, all of the Philippines. We did Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, a bunch of different places. Is JS able to accurately quantify? Quantify what, cowgirl? Can you show inside the back end of Amazon how we check on PPC? Yeah, Michael, I definitely could. That would be something like that I'd probably create for the students though, because I don't want to share like all of my back-end PPC stuff with like thousands of people on YouTube. Do you recommend Shopify? Also, at what point did you evolve to different business models? Yeah, I definitely recommend Shopify. I have Shopify sites right now. It's an interesting way to do it. You can fulfill on your Shopify sites with Amazon's FBA warehouses also, and then you don't have to pay the 15% referral fee that you do have to pay on Amazon, basically for Amazon bringing you organic traffic. Och's TiVo, that's a great question. Do you think of translating your course to Spanish or other languages? I'm actually currently in the process of translating it to Spanish, German, and Japanese, so that's coming soon. If Amazon changes the rules on a subject, do you communicate only via Facebook group or do you update the course? Salim, I do both. I tell all my students, hey, this changed. I release a new video and say this is where you can find it within the student membership platform. Where do we message you, Danny? Just shoot me a message on Facebook. I'm the admin of the 20,000 person group, the advanced group, and then both of the student groups as well. Do you have any certain categories or private label? Yeah, I definitely do. I share that in my product research videos and with all my students. I'm going to jump over to the student group really quick. Where's the official chat window? This is it, Josh. So I'm going to answer questions here first. We've been live for about 5 minutes. It looks like there's about 50 people watching in the student group right now. So whenever you guys have questions in the student group, just post them in the chat of the Brown Belts group. And if one of my students wouldn't mind, tell the Black Belt group that we're live here. The questions that I'm answering right now, Josh, are from YouTube because there's no questions from the student group yet. It takes people a couple minutes to get online, and it's only 3:02 Pacific, so I'm going to give people a few more minutes. YouTube, there's just hundreds and hundreds of people on, so they ask a lot more questions. With full course, do we have access on both Black Belt and Brown Belt groups? Yeah, absolutely, Yulia. The Brown Belt group is linked in the actual membership platform. The Black Belt group you get in your fulfillment email when you purchase the full course. It's a lot smaller, and I answer every single one of the questions in there. Approximately how many products do you have on Amazon? About 62 right now. Thank you. So you're indexing for 625 all in the first line or between 5 lines. It doesn't really matter. You can put 1,000 characters per line. There's not a difference, really. Ben, I do already private label and I make nice money. Is there any way I can make more money with your course? I know all the tricks. I mean, if you know all the tricks, then you probably wouldn't need any course, right? But I mean, I have a ton of stuff that I've never seen anyone else talk about. The PPC course alone, a lot of people have messaged me saying, hey, like I paid for your course in a week with the PPC section alone. So yeah, check it out if you're interested. There's a money back guarantee too, so I always stand behind everything that I'm teaching. Shout out from Barbados. Would love to have you down here one day. Thanks for all the knowledge. Oh man, Barbados. It's so amazing seeing all the different people out there. Do you have a mobile version for your courses? Yeah, you can watch it on iPad, on iPhone. It's the same thing. The videos play both ways. All right, I'm gonna jump back into the student group. Can you pick the categories you want to sell in because a certain product might not have as many reviews in one? Yeah, definitely, Josh. I mean, this is a great question because a lot of people, this is generally a gray area between white and black hat, but a lot of people will purposefully categorize their product in a smaller category to get the number one bestseller badges, right? Because you have to outsell the people in organic position one to get that badge. But if it's significantly easier to outsell someone in a smaller category with less volume if you have a better product, right? And so when you're doing your giveaways at the beginning, during product launch and things like that, if you have a smaller category, you're more likely to get the bestseller badge, and people don't actually look at the subcategory node. All they see is the bestseller badge, and then they'll buy, right? And so the other cool part about miscategorizing purposefully is if you miscategorize into a smaller category and enough people are organically finding your product through the main path to the larger subcategory, Amazon will actually automatically assign you dual subcategory nodes, which basically means you'll have a categorization in like sports and outdoor, patio, whatever, and then you'll also have like sports and outdoor, patio, and then like a smaller subcategory simultaneously. Brad says that the reason there's no questions in the brown belt group is because we're all so well trained after your training. Yeah, exactly. How can you ungate a product? You ungate a category, Andrea. So like if you want to sell in beauty or grocery or things like that, Amazon needs a little bit more information. And all of my students have a really good contact to ungate super quickly in the different categories. So if you guys need to ungate, just message me and I'll introduce you to the team I work with to do that. Do you look at students' potential products and give your opinion on what you think, honest opinions? Bentley, absolutely. That's why I created the 6 steps of product research. If you guys haven't seen the common questions document, definitely run through it. I link all my, graphic artists. I link all of my freight forwarders. I talk about, the 6 steps of product research that really takes out all of the guesswork that is involved when you actually are picking a product. So if you haven't taken a look at that, look at those 6 steps, and then for all my students, after you find just take screenshots of those 6 data points, send them to me, and we can have a really detailed conversation about whether or not I think it's worth it to jump into that product or move on to a different one. About how much is your profit from your 62 products? Do you have any failures or mediocre products? My profit is a lot more than I was making at my 9-to-5 job, Stavros. Yeah, I've had products that were mediocre and failures for sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid that. Sometimes, there's things out of your control, like, a ton of competitors will come in that weren't there originally, or, it was a fad or things like that, right? And there's ways to mitigate the risk of those potential things happening, but for the most part, the products that I've chosen that have had failures have come from kind of like external factors that were outside of my control, that even when you do your due diligence, you're still not going to be able to avoid some of those, out of your control factors. Hi Kev, do compliant short titles get better ranking from the algorithm than those that are long and non-compliant? No, absolutely not, Jake. You should use all 200 characters 100% of the time. Amazon actually has this algorithm now that they're using that goes through and like basically weeds out these like keyword stuff titles, and then it's really annoying to change it back. But you should always be using all of your available space in your title. And the reason for that is because Amazon weights keyword strength differently in the different sections of your listing, right? So the product description has the lowest weight, right? So it has the lowest impact, the lowest amount of kind of like bang for your buck as far as keywords go, as far as indexing for those keywords, right? So it goes description is the lowest, and then it goes product bullets, and then it goes back-end keywords, and then your most important place to put keywords is your title. So the title should always be iterating, always be changing based on your PPC search term report, right? So if you have keywords that are getting a ton of clicks, right, and they're converting great, and you have low ACoS, those keywords should appear first in your title, right? Because you want Amazon to weight those heaviest, and you want people to see those, right, and then click through to your product. Because it's important to note, Jake, and this is a long answer, but I hope this is helping. it's important to note that if you get a ton of clicks, right, and you can see that in your search term report for a specific keyword, putting that first in your title so more people see it, right, you know that that's what they're looking for. You know, because you can see with hard data from your search term report that is what they're looking for, and then you can put it in the title, increase your click and conversion rate even further because they see that word that's in their mind when they're searching for your product, and they click through and they buy, right? So it's an iterative process, but you can use your search term report to really step it up. You have 62 products selling on Amazon FBA. If you don't mind, how much are you making in revenue per month, and how much is profit? A lot more than I was making at my 9-to-5 job. I always avoid this question, right? Because I think that it's kind of private what people have built. I obviously have multiple stores, more than two. My students know how many stores I have, but if you want to stay within terms of service, you can have one, and then you can ask for an approved second. So I always recommend doing what you're comfortable with. How's the initial launch video coming? I'm chomping at the bit. Brad, let's talk about that right now. So I'll show you guys details about the launch video, but let's get a little teaser going right here. So essentially, launching a product on Amazon is like this. You eye track, or you use the product tracker in Jungle Scout to get a very clear and accurate number of sales per day for the top 5 people that are organically ranking for your listing, right? And so once you have that, you can basically know for sure how many units those people are selling on Amazon FBA per day. And once you know that, then all you have to do to launch a product and get to the page 1 is you just sell 1 to 2 more than that average per day for 3 to 7 days. If you want to get to page 1 for sure, do it for 7 days. So if the average people in position 1 through 5 organically are selling 5 per day, then you run giveaways for 7 per day for 7 days, and you will 100% get to page 1, right? And my students and I, will go into a little bit more detail about how to rank for specific keywords. We're going to talk about Gleam.io if you want to run really targeted giveaways, and you want to really, step up your game, right? Gleam.io is definitely a very advanced method, but we're going to start getting into the more advanced stuff, my student groups. So when I make that product launch video, I'm going to go really in depth, even further about how to launch, how to run giveaways so you rank for your keywords rather than just a BSR increase. And then we're going to talk about Gleam.io, which I think is one of the most important ways to launch a product, and not only launch a product, but then collect those emails to have horizontally related future product launches, which once you have an interested customer base is just so much easier. How accurate is your experience with Jungle Scout sales estimates? I know that is essentially based on algorithm that calculates sales estimates based on sales rank. I've been tracking some products, and it seems like Jungle Scout is usually accurate within 10% or grow. So the Jungle Scout product tracker is quite accurate when it's possible to run the iTrack 999 trick, right? So if they have above 1,000, or if they have above 999, or they're merchant fulfilled, Jungle Scout estimates their sales, right, in the product tracker and the sales estimate based on their BSR, category specific BSR. So if you go to junglescout.com, let me check. I think it's junglescout.com/estimate. Let me see if this still works. junglescout.com/estimate. It might be estimator too. Yeah, so okay, here we go. So junglescout.com/estimator. So you can see based on, what category it is, you enter the sales rank for baby or whatever, right? So you enter the BSR in there, and then it'll estimate the number of units that it's selling per month, and it does that with the BSR rating, right? And so in the one-off cases where it's not able to get the true numbers, it estimates based off BSR, and then you're seeing less accuracy, which is why I always recommend, before diving into a product, you can use the product tracker, but before you make the final dive, manually track that product for 3 days using the iTrack 999 cart method trick, right? And then you're going to be feeling a lot safer that you're 100% getting accurate data. Matt, did that answer your question? Not sure if you updated the bonus module on merch for Amazon, but I just got approved and not wondering if there are resources out there and getting you started from A to Z. I heard of people getting suspended on there. Yeah, Josh, if you're it's just go to the bonus modules. There's a really detailed write-up that I did on everything merch, how to check, copyright and trademark stuff, how to see, the best sellers, and then how to make choices about what you want to sell, to change up those bestseller designs, to meet your own original design, but just based off things are selling well. And that's it. All on tan. Yeah. So same thing. It's in the bonus modules. There's a video. There's also resource PDFs in there. Happy to help you guys find that if you can't. Thanks for the ad. When you change the title, do you need to change the UPC sticker or whatever it's called that Amazon provides? No, you don't. If you change the title that has nothing to do with the UPC and the FN SKU. You use the term BSR. I'm not familiar with this term. Is this sales rank? Yeah, it's called bestseller ranking, Matt. I'm gonna jump back into YouTube real quick because there's no more questions in the brown belts group. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of questions on YouTube. Do you do private coaching? For my full course students, it's as close as I get to private coaching, but I felt that I can help more people and enable more people to create their businesses on Amazon and leave the 9-to-5 grind behind by kind of appealing to the masses and focusing more of my time on videos that everyone can watch and more of my time on YouTube that can reach more people and essentially help more people. When comes your German course version? It's coming, I promise. And Spanish and Japanese are coming too, guys. It's gonna take me a second, but it's coming for sure. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm scrolling up really quick. I'm trying to catch all of these. 62 products. How do you keep track? with assistance and with really well organized inventory forecasting, Martin. Would you always recommend to do a product inspection even if it's your first test order for a product and the quantity is small? I mean, it's cost benefit, right? There has been times that I have not done an inspection because it's a super simple product and I just say, hey, show me pictures and show me videos of the product, show me videos of your factory, and I feel okay about that. But then, everyone comes back when I say things like that and says, oh my gosh, Kevin, you're not doing inspections. Are you like, never? Seriously? No, guys, you should always be doing inspections unless it's a tiny order, right? Or it's an incredibly simple product. That's what I said, and that's how I feel about it. So I normally always recommend inspections is the answer. But yes, I have in the past just gotten HD videos and pictures and felt okay about it. Should I pay less bids on the PPC after I started getting some sales? No. I mean, if you're getting profitable sales from PPC, increase your bids. Don't decrease them. You want to be served first. You want your ad to appear first for those words that you're converting. So raise your bids for those. How do you call your PPC course? Where can I find it? And what do you mean about 100% money back guarantee? Yeah, so I mean, you have 30 days to try the course. You get access to our student groups, which are super valuable, right? You get access to a ton of PDFs, very in-depth, step-by-step, and then a bunch of videos on everything PPC. And there's very unique stuff in here, Ben. No one else is talking about this anywhere that I've ever seen. And I've taken pretty much every course out there, and it just doesn't compare, in my personal opinion. And hopefully my students would agree. So ask them if you want to go from there. And you can find it in the comments of this, or in the description of this YouTube video. It's called Amazon FBA Ninja Course Modules, and you can look at all the different modules, or if you want the full course, it's available as there as well. Is brand registry essential for a first product? If not, can a listing still be created? Yeah, you can create a product without brand registry. Brand registry actually has updated recently to that, and now it requires a trademark. So it's a little bit harder for brand new sellers, right? Because trademarks in the USA can take 6 to 10 months. So if I purchase your course, can I access it at any time I want, or do you have a duration for them? Vidya, yes. Everyone who purchases my course has lifetime access forever, right? And I constantly am updating it at least weekly with all of the brand new stuff, and you get that all once you've purchased the course completely for free. There's no hidden charges or anything like that. Once you're a member of the Ninja family, you always will be, and you're always going to get all of the newest updates completely for free. How do you get quick reviews on your first private label product? John, Amazon actually launched a program called the Early Reviewer Program. right? So if you look in your advertising menu in Seller Central, they have a program. It's $60 to get your first 5 reviews. There's a few requirements, like it has to be $15 or more, and you pretty much want zero. You want zero reviews for it, but it gets you your first 5. A lot of other people will use friends and family, right? This is technically against terms of service, but if you choose people that you're not friends with on Facebook and you're not related to in any way, then it's pretty low risk, and then you can just reimburse them on PayPal or whatever. And so a lot of people do that. I don't personally recommend it, right, because it is against terms of service, but a lot of people are doing it, and it's important for everyone to know, what people are doing, regardless of whether or not that is, within the terms of service, and I personally recommend it. So if you're from Europe, should you still sell in Germany or UK, or should you go to the US marketplace? You can do both. I mean, Europe is a beautiful, expanding market, right, with significantly less competition and incredibly lower barriers to entry as far as PPC, right? There's a lot of very intelligent marketers in the USA when it comes to pay-per-click advertising, but in Europe, for some reason, on Amazon, the PPC is just ripe for the picking. You can get, 10% ACoS, huge margins on these, and you don't even have to create very, well done PPC campaigns to do this, which is a great part about the Europe market. All right, I'm gonna jump back to the student group. It looks like there's about 75 people watching now. Let's see where I was. If you click on the live stream, there's a whole other comment section that Kev can't see why the questions don't get answered. Oh, Amber, are people asking questions on my actual Facebook page? Let me see. Oh, there's not many though. Leslie, Marius, Brittany, and Karem, come to the Brown Belts group and ask the questions there. I'm trying to read them all from the same place. All right. Why are you creating multilingual versions when you say that you will soon close the course? Because I want to, enable people from other countries to be able to do it, and I haven't decided for sure about whether or not I am closing the course. I was tentatively planning for the end of the month, but there's always some other options out there. So we'll see what happens, Stavros. But I want to try to enable people from other countries to be able to, experience how amazing Amazon FBA is and how it can change your life and free you from, that corporate spiral that too many people think is normal. Because it's not normal to work 50-hour weeks at all. It's normal to travel the world and have time with your friends and family and loved ones, and to be able to do whatever you want and really live your life. I'm tracking a product right now that is getting like 84,000 hits on Merchant Words, but is turning out so far to not getting good sales. What does this normally mean? Well, the product wouldn't be getting 84,000 hits on Merchant Words. The word would, right, Josh? So the keyword would. I'd need to see more information to be able to answer that, but based on the high volume keyword, remember, Merchant Words is an estimate, right? They estimate the keyword volume, again, based off BSR and based off Amazon's auto search fill feature for the search bar. So don't take what Merchant Words or anything besides Google Keyword Planner says as gospel, right? Because it's not always true. The only accurate volume predictor is Google Keyword Planner and the search engines. So is there a strategy to picking a category, but when doing research you have to search for the highest volume keyword in all departments, or is there ever a time to do keyword research in a niche category? Yeah, there's definitely always time to do keyword research in niche categories. I like to look for products that hit not only one set of keywords, but hit multiple, right? So it would be like a product like a humidor, right? So you can say humidor as the keyword, humidor, like low moisture humidor, travel humidor. And then if you think about a humidor, right, what is a humidor? Who is the target market for that? Humidor also is a perfect keyword, is a perfect product for the keyword set, gift for grandpa, gift for retired dad, gifts for dad, right? So it's hitting on these multiple levels of keywords, and so you have a lot more to play with when it comes to PPC, right? So I always feel extremely comfortable investing in a new product when I have multiple avenues to be able to pursue for that product, From a PPC perspective, from a keyword perspective, there's a lot more testing I can do, and I feel very comfortable that I can out-optimize anyone out there when I have more to play with. But then you see products like the angle ruler, right? And like there's literally nothing else besides like the keyword anglized ruler. So it's tough for people because there's multiple competitors, but there's only one keyword, so that just drives the PPC costs up. And there's no way to iterate and create value through optimization when there's so few keywords out there. What's up, Kevin? I'm wondering if you can make a video tutorial or Q&A on some of your most effective negotiation tactics with manufacturers. A problem I've been having is that once quotes are in, most manufacturers don't seem to have much wiggle room on price, and consequently I'm struggling to find a product with 30% plus margin. Yeah, let's talk about that right now, Andrew. The best way to negotiate with a manufacturer or anyone in life, right, is to actually be comfortable walking away, right? So if you have one manufacturer you're talking to and they're the only one, you've kind of like spent a lot of time, put a lot of time in this, and they're saying, no, we can't go down, that's on you, right? Because you should be having 5 to 10 manufacturers that you're talking with. You should be getting formalized quotes from, at least your top 5. And then with those quotes, I'm taking Photoshop, right? And I'm changing the MOQ from 5,000 to 500, and I'm changing the cost per unit from 3 to 1, and then I'm showing that photoshopped, that Photoshop quote to my other 4 manufacturers and saying, hey, can you match this? I want to work with you, but I'm getting this specific quote from this other manufacturer, and I just I like you the best, but I can't rationalize going with someone else when they're offering so much less than you are. So is there any way that you or your boss would be able to okay a discount in this specific case to form a long-term relationship? So that's probably the best way. Being willing to walk away truly and having other options and then leveraging them against each other to kind of break it down, right? And then there's more advanced ways like using 1688 and free chopping China to view the cost per product in RMB, right? And then show them, hey, like I could buy this exact same product for this much once you convert the RMB to USD. And we talk about that. We talk about all that in the course for suppliers and shipping and how to find the best guys out there and protect yourself, right? When using the eye tracker method and wanting to know, do I need to track all the sellers? Edwards, I track the top 5, and if I'm really serious, sometimes I even track the top 10. You want to make sure by tracking more than just that one product you found, right? Because you want to make sure that there's spread out sales, that it's not just one person, right, that's getting all the sales. You want to make sure that if you do come into the market and you can get to page 1, even if you get to page 1, right, if only the person in position 1 on page 1 is getting any sales, that's usually a bad sign. You want to have the sales spread out amongst all the different guys or all the different offerings in page 1. Is it possible to create an Instagram following if Instagram and Archie are shut down? Yeah, it's possible, but it's obviously a lot harder now. Now you have to actually like manually post and manually comment and get people interested, which sucks. And so I basically just have slowed down my Instagram usage. I mean, I still have some brands that have 10,000 or so followers, but I use Instagram to build all that. I just don't have time to manually handle Instagram. There will eventually be a viable alternative to Instagram, and when I do find that, I will share it, obviously, with all my students. Josh, yes, the keyword. Can you rephrase or tell me what you mean below? Were you planning on making a video about starting up in the Australian FBA? John, yeah, I absolutely will. Once we get more of a solid answer from Amazon about when that launch is, Amazon's usually late from their initial estimates expanding into new markets, so I wouldn't see that happening for a while. So, but yeah, once I get more information on when that actual launch is, I definitely 100% will make a video about that. Translate your course to Russian. We are in need of good coaches and courses, and not many Russians speak English. Yeah, I actually have some. I have probably like 5 Russian students that have offered to translate it for me. Maybe I will do that. I just wanted to hit kind of the big 3 first, but then maybe down the line we can expand. Do you ever recommend sea shipping? I've been quoted sea shipping at 1/8 the cost of air shipping, but I'm not sure about all the other costs added on to sea shipping. Yeah, I sea ship probably 90% of what I ship, right? Once you get to the level where you're shipping containers, right, 20 or 40 foot containers, you can't really ship by air feasibly anymore, right? So I'll ship 10 to 20% of my product via air just to get that initial momentum, get the launch right. You have to plot it out how much you ship by air, right? You have to plot out how long you're going to stay in stock in relation to your giveaways, right? So if you're giving away 10 per day and then you're selling 10 per day, so if you're giving 10 per day away for the first 7 days, so that's 70 units, right? And then if the top guys, top 1 through 5 organically are selling 10 units per day, then you need 70 for your giveaway, and then you need 10 per day, how long it takes to ship the rest of your units by sea, right? So if it takes 30 days by sea, you need 30 times 10, 300 plus 70 for giveaway. So I'd ship 370 units via air, and then I'd have the rest come by sea and save a bunch of costs, increase my profit margins by saving money on the sea shipment, but also you can get your product moving, get those initial reviews, get that initial momentum via air to kind of hit the ground running when your products do arrive by sea. How do you feel about launching a variant of an existing product that is competitive and has a lot of sales? The variant is currently not available on Amazon. What do you mean by variant, Leslie? Can you tell any more detail about duty fee, how to calculate it when you ship by express? Yeah, I mean, use my freight forwarders and just tell them, yo, I want to see every single cost that I'm going to incur, right? There's your customs bond, whether it's continuous or one time. There's port fees, right? There's all these like little hidden costs with all shipping, right? Tell them, hey, I want an exact estimate, right? Some of the stuff is going to change, but I want to see as exact of an estimate as is possible. Tell them you want to see the port fees. Tell them you want to see estimated customs, right? Tell them you want to see every single little thing from the second that they pick it up from the China port to the second that it arrives in the Amazon FBA warehouse, and they should be able to at least give you an estimate, right? They won't be able to give you exact because it changes, but they will be able to give you an estimate. I heard you have $1 million secret Facebook group. Thoughts? Nick, I love you. Yes, I do have a mastermind for people doing 7 figures or more. There's currently about 80 of us in there, and so I hope to add you all one day once we all reach that point. What is up, Kevin? Live video for the win. Thanks, Justin. Good to see you. What should I do if I have unsold products after 6 months? I mean, 6 months is when long-term storage kicks in, which is like 22 times more expensive than your regular storage fees. So you can ship them. You can make an exit order from Amazon, ship them like to your house or to a different warehouse, and then Amazon has a minimum number of days that you have to basically have that inventory, that unsold inventory, out of an FBA warehouse before you can ship it back in. I think it is 45 days currently. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's 45 days. So ship it to your house for 45 days and then ship it back. Or you can make a destruction order if it's just a terrible product or it's just not working at all. Would you say it's safe to choose air shipping most of the time if our final product order from Alibaba is under 200 pounds? It's not about whether it's safe, Emily. It's about whether it's cost efficient, right? If you can ship a product by sea for 10 times cheaper, then do you want that extra profit margin built into your units when they arrive? Or do you want to get started now, be able to be selling and cement that that lead, that barrier to entry of your reviews and getting the momentum to maintain your position on page 1, right? It's a cost-benefit analysis. It's not really about being safe. But that's a good question, though. I've heard of ThomasNet not being user-friendly. Have you heard of any tactics for finding mom-and-pop manufacturers locally on the U.S. side? Not really. I mean, the best way by far is ThomasNet. You're right. It's not user-friendly, but at the same time, it's not that bad. Any intelligent person can figure out ThomasNet. All you have to do is just kind of wander around it for an hour, and then you'll feel comfortable about it. How important is getting a Facebook group going with many likes for your brand? So Facebook groups specifically for like campaigns is essentially not as important as it used to be, right? So Facebook changed their algorithm to not allow Facebook group likes to actually reach that target market, right? So years ago, if you had a Facebook group with 1 million likes and you made a post, all 1 million of those people would get a notification, right? But now, if you think about it, you like pages, but you rarely ever get notifications about it. It's because, you don't actually get notified as a liker of a page anymore. Facebook changed that algorithm because it was annoying too many people, right? They made all these changes to edge rank and things like that. So it is reasonably important, but it's not as important as it used to be. Like I say in my full course, right? Building a Facebook group for people who are passionate about your hobby in general is actually much more important than creating a Facebook group specifically for likes. What up, Kev? Can you tell us about taxes? Do you have to register to pay taxes in each state you make a sale, and do you pay quarterly? Any other tips? All right, so this is obviously a very complicated question. I have to be like everyone else and say this is not official tax advice, like you should talk to your CPA. What I've heard that people do is you establish nexus in whichever states that you hold inventory, right? So Amazon has a report that you can see where you have nexus, where you have the most quantity of your inventory. What I've heard a lot of people do is they'll use TaxJar to see, which states they're getting the most sales in, and then they'll choose, like, if there's 3 that make up 90% of your sales, usually it's like California, New York, Texas, Florida, things like that. Then you can file state returns in those most, the majority of your sales states. File returns in those, and then call it good. Basically, that's what I've heard people are doing. So technically, if you wanted to do it perfectly, if you sold 1 unit in Rhode Island for the entire year, you technically would have to file a Rhode Island return and pay like a cent of tax. But no one in their right mind is going to do that, right? So it's a cost benefit like everything else in business. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Bjorn. It's a complicated question. No one else is ever saying anything about it, but that is what I've heard most people are doing. If you find a product that has good sales per day and there's no competition, is that an opportunity to jump in early, or is it risky because one offering may not justify a high enough market demand? Thu, that's a great question. So there's ways to indirectly find data about whether that is just a one-off case or there is other demand, right? So Google Keyword Planner. If people are searching it on Google also, if they're searching it on merchant words also in high enough volume, then that's a good indicator. You can look at Google Trends, right? If there's an upward trend, or if there's a trend, hovering above 50 to 75 out of 100, then you know that people are interested in that based off Google searches. So there's ways to find indirect information, but if you find a product with low reviews and a ton of sales, then think of that as like a great thing, right? You found a diamond in the rough. You just have to do a little bit more research to be really comfortable about jumping in. How do I find the top sellers if the item has 20 sellers? Edwards, basically just type in the highest volume keyword into Amazon.com, the search bar, and then you'll see, the person who's ranked first organically, right? So it's not a sponsored. He's not a sponsored post. It's not PPC. The person who's not an ad in position 1 is the top seller for that keyword, for that niche. The video is no longer working for me. Only on YouTube it works. Really? I can see the Facebook group video. Can anybody else confirm? Can you guys see the brown belts video right now? Somebody was just saying that it didn't work. Kev, JS was showing a particular seller selling about 500 to 600 units per month for the past 3 weeks. Today that same seller is showing 6,500 sales a month. How is that possible? Okay, it's working. Brittany, I'm not sure why it's not working for you. It sounds like it's working for other people. But yeah, just go onto YouTube if it's working for you there. I'll switch back to YouTube and ask some questions, or I'll read your questions here as well. So it's possible because maybe they went out, they're above the 999 limit, or they have a max order quantity, and Jungle Scout's trying to estimate based on BSR instead of like the exact actual 999 iTrack method. So sometimes it's a little bit off, again, which is why I always suggest manually tracking for 3 days, even after using the Jungle Scout product tracker, just to be sure. Can your items get destroyed by sea shipping if your product is made of paper, for example? I mean, your products aren't going to be like loose, right? They're going to be in cartons, in pallets. Yes, obviously you can. Yeah, that's actually a great point, Bjorn. Maybe Prime Day affected that. So you can buy insurance, Yulia, and it's usually extremely cheap because it rarely does anything ever happen to, ships. It's not like ships just go sinking every once in a while, right? It's very, very rare. So you can buy insurance for super cheap if you're worried about it, but no, it's not likely that your items would get destroyed by shipping via sea. The only thing I don't understand about the facts section is number 6. Include a calculation of your top competitors showing profit margin using the FBA fee calculator. Okay, so what this means, Josh, is let's say that we're selling a humidor, right? So we'll go out to some suppliers and we'll say, hey, how much is it going to cost per unit to give me 500 humidors, right? And they're going to say, okay, it's $5 a unit. So you can, obviously you're going to negotiate that down later, right? But initially you can say, okay, so then you're going to say how many humidors fits in one carton, and they're going to say 50, right? And this is all, I'm just making this up. So there's 50 humidors per carton, right? And then you're getting 500, right? And so you have 10 of those cartons, and then you go to my freight forwarder, you fill out the exact little paragraph that I asked for, that the freight forwarder needs, and say, hey, I'm shipping 10 cartons, they weigh this much, they're this big, how much is it going to cost to get from China, from the Ningbo port to Long Beach port, right? And then we can talk about the ground shipping later. So now you have $5 per unit, which is your cost of goods sold, and now once the freight forwarder responds and says, okay, it's going to be $500 to ship those 10 cartons, then you know, okay, and then shipping is $1 per unit. So now you have $5 for cost of goods sold, $1 for shipping. Now you know it costs you $6 to land that product in the USA, right? Now you know it's $6 for cost of goods sold and shipping, and then Amazon, the FBA fee calculator, will say, hey, it's going to cost you $4 for us to package and ship this out for you. So 5 for cost of goods sold, 1 for shipping, 4 for the Amazon fulfillment fees, so you know it's going to cost you $10, right, to get that unit to your customer. And then if you charge $19.99, then you know you're making $9.99 profit on that overall sale, right? So does that make sense, Josh? I think that's a very important question that everyone needs to understand when they're formulating these profitability metrics and profitability calculations before investing in a product. What happens if I can't find the item on Alibaba and DHgate? Well, Edwards, I mean, you can find manufacturers out there that are that make similar products, right? And then you can ask them, hey, I want to make this. I know you guys make something similar. Could we do that? If so, let's talk about it. Is there a way to how successful last? Oh, is there a way to see how successful last Q4 seasonal products were in case you want to jump in? Yeah, definitely. Thu, I actually literally did a video exactly on that. Can one of the other students maybe tell Thu how to find that video I did on Q4? That was one of the questions that the students voted for me to make a video specifically on, and so I did make that, and so it exists. My next video, I promise I will make for you guys soon, is going to be talking about the super advanced stuff for Gleam.io for product launch and any other clarifications as far as, giveaways, keyword rank, and product launch, how to get to page 1 guaranteed, right? You just have to have the budget to give away the number of units required to get you there. And then once you have, 3 to 5 to 10 reviews, you can maintain that organic position on page 1 if you do create a high value product that is more valuable than the other competitors, which everyone always should be doing. We should always be adding value to products, never just be copying, right? You absolutely positive you heard only that? Yeah, I definitely heard that, right? It's you want to be careful with tax stuff because it's just like legality advice, right? It's just you don't want to be too liable for what you're saying. Variant as in, for example, the fidget being the main hot selling product and launching a variant of it that is smaller, catered to small hands of children. Yeah, you want to be careful with that though, Leslie, because as a customer, do I care, right? That's the biggest question you have to answer for yourself. Do I care that it's a smaller product? Is the keyword volume there for that variant? If so, then definitely. I heard that Amazon TOS, they require all professional seller accounts that have limited liability insurance. So Amazon TOS requires a lot of things, Jeff. If I adhered perfectly to every single one of them, I would probably be a crazy person because there's so many clauses and portions of TOS. I know multi-million-dollar sellers, right? Other multi-million-dollar sellers that don't have any liability insurance, and I know people that sell one product and it's a knife, and then they have to have limited liability insurance, right? It depends on what you're selling. If you're selling teddy bears, it's much less likely that somebody is going to, cut someone's head off with a teddy bear versus, a knife. So you want to just be logical, and again, cost benefit. What should we do if the JS product tracker and then we do I-99 inventory for 3 days, but the 3 days for I-99 has all competitors with over 999. Yeah, Emily, it sounds like you've had this issue for a while. So it's tough because if no one on the front page has any amount of inventory you can track, right, they're all merch fulfilled, they all have max order quantities, unfortunately I would probably let that product go because you just can't see for sure what's happening. And so there's so many products out there that, you know, there's just no reason to invest your time and money and upfront capital if you don't know for sure. And so the only way you know for sure is with the I-99 method. So it's tough. Jake, ClickFunnels versus lead pages. Is ClickFunnels worth the extra price per month for simple funnels? I mean, if you know me, you know that I'm ClickFunnels 120%. Russell Brunson is one of my, you know, idols. I'll eventually meet him in the next year or so. But ClickFunnels is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. One of the next course modules that I'm going to create is everything ClickFunnels. So it's going to be drop shipping. It's going to be how to collect emails. It's going to be forming membership sites. It's going to be, you know, conversion tactics. It's going to talk about, you know, redirects for timers to go to other pages, how to integrate, you know, Facebook pixels and Google Analytics pixels and Google AdWords remarketing to, you know, serve your ads to incredibly targeted audiences, you know, and how to exclude thank you page visits, right? Because you can put, you know, event codes and goal pixels, or excuse me, goals from Google on your thank you page, and then you can see, you know, this person was on the order page for my product, but he never actually bought it. So you can exclude people who've been to your thank you page because you know they bought it, and you can retarget people who only made it to your order page but never saw your thank you page. You know that they were interested but they didn't buy, right? And that's incredibly powerful stuff. So ClickFunnels all the way, 100%, Jake. I have a discount for ClickFunnels in the student group that we can use as well. How does working with freight forwarders work? Do I link them up with my Chinese manufacturer and do they take care of everything? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I couldn't even imagine doing Amazon FBA without a freight forwarder. It would just be ridiculous. They take out so much of the hassle and the headache. It's just so worth it, 100%. If you find a freight forwarder that is, you know, you trust and has the right prices, right? So the problem is a lot of new sellers will find the freight forwarders who spend a ton on marketing, right? Like FBA Forward and the America-based freight forwarders who will charge you, you know, 3 to 4 times more to do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. So, you know, you find the Top Winds, the Forest, the, you know, the China side or internationally based freight forwarders who will get you the exact same results, your products from A to B for, you know, 1/4 the cost of American freight forwarders, and that just goes straight to your bottom line. It's going to make you a ton more profit. So worth it. Will you update any videos in the course now that they have outdated information? Yeah, definitely. I mean, my super URL video in the course talks about how super URLs don't work, so that is up to date. Brand registry is something that I do need to change. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm actually going to note that right now, because brand registry does require a trademark now, so thank you. Always, guys, if you're seeing things that are out of date with the course, or, you know, you have any question about stuff, ask me. I always want to make sure that this is absolutely the best available course by far with all of the most up-to-date information, and I'm trying extremely hard to make sure that that is always the case. But if you ever see something, tell me. I love hearing from you guys, so I'll always make sure to make sure that everything is the most up-to-date and cutting edge best stuff available on Amazon FBA. When you're sourcing on Alibaba, on average, what percentage do you usually receive as a final price per unit in relation to the manufacturer's list price on Alibaba? The manufacturer's list price on Alibaba is complete bullshit. It means nothing. It literally means nothing. They'll quote you 10 times higher, and they'll quote you, you know, 10 times lower. It literally means nothing. So whatever they tell me first, let's say that they're gonna go, you know, for 500 units we could do it for $5 per unit. Then I'm gonna say, you know, on average, I usually end up paying about 50% of what they initially quote me on Skype. What softwares do you use for merch, and is it worth it outsourcing t-shirt ideas to Fiverr or Upwork? Yeah, I mean, I always have my graphic artists actually create the design, Josh, but outsourcing like the design idea, no, you shouldn't do that. You should definitely be designing the the designs themselves, or excuse me, you should be thinking of the designs themselves, but actually designing it physically, like on Adobe Illustrator. I use my graphic artists. So you don't worry about lowballing, Andrew. Absolutely not. I lowball like crazy. There's a point that you have to stop, but you wanna be cognizant of lowballing, but you also want to have quality, right? So you can kind of start to feel it out. What is a good combination. All right, I'm gonna go back to YouTube. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of messages. I'm gonna go to the bottom, guys. Sorry. So if you have a really important message on YouTube, then copy and paste it again into the code right now. What do you think of Tanner J. Fox? I don't really have much thoughts on him. I think he's done a good job marketing himself and marketing his course. I have a lot of students who've come to my course from his course, so you can think whatever you want from that. But yeah, I don't have anything against him at all. I think he's done a great job marketing. While you're at it, dude, I'm so close to buying your course. I myself work 70-hour weeks and I'm done. Body is tired. Yeah, I bet, Joseph. I mean, you're not meant to work 70-hour weeks as a human being. Like you should be traveling. You should be seeing the world. You should be working from Thailand on the beach, sipping a $1 Mai Tai, getting a massage for $3 for an hour. Like you shouldn't be killing yourself at work. And anyone can do it. You just have to commit. You have to know how. You have to have the right knowledge, right? And that's what I'm working hard to do, to spread the knowledge to people who want to break free from that horrible cycle that so many people have been brainwashed into thinking that is normal. Do you use 80/20 for your inspections, Kev? Jason, I'm not sure what you mean. Signing up right now, do you have a promo code? Hee hee. Yeah, I do, Dan. It's in the description. It's final 150. And sometimes the promo codes are kind of finicky because I had to custom code that into ClickFunnels because they don't offer promo codes for some reason. And so if it's not working copy and pasting, then just type in final 150 and then it should show you the promotional code price. Any advice on how to lower ACoS? Andy, yeah, that's a really broad question. There's a lot of stuff you can do, right? So let's talk about that in the student group because that would be like a 30-minute question. But the PPC module teaches you exactly how to do that, right? Low keyword, big campaigns. Negative exact matching the keywords that aren't converting based on your search term report, right? In auto campaigns, there's a ton of stuff. Is Canada a lot of good products, only have a few sellers? Is it necessarily a bad thing in the low volume Canadian market? I am a big fan of the USA market. There's so much opportunity left and such high volume, and Americans are so in love with Amazon. They've done such an incredible job at creating incredibly loyal customers in America. So I always say, America first, but if you want to sell in Canada, you can do that too. Are you familiar with the Amazing Selling Machine method? Yeah, I am. They've done an incredible job of marketing as well. I've taken it. Their actual content is not nearly as in-depth. They don't show you their actual screens, right? They're not taking you in-depth enough, that new sellers and even advanced sellers need to be able to implement some of this advanced methodologies, right? And so I think that's what differentiates our course. It's very, very in-depth, in the details, in the trenches. I'm showing my actual screen, sharing my screen in my account, right? Showing you exactly how to do it. 80/20 sourcing does pre-shipment inspection in China for you for a small fee. I've never used them. I use different inspection companies, but yeah, if it's a cheap fee and you feel comfortable with the report they give you as far as sampling quality and things like that, then go for it, Jason. Does Amazon accurately report their inventory? Their only seller of this product inventory shows above 99. Yeah, they definitely accurately report it, right? But Amazon buys in 30,000 unit quantities once they're absolutely sure about a product, cowgirl. So I'm not surprised at all that they have above 999. I have a review of the course on my page if anyone's on the fence. Nice. That guy, B-Rad. I just wanted to let you know that you are great. Thank you very much for all you do. Yumi. Oh, thank you, Yumi. I appreciate that. Hey, Kevin, that is a more critical question, but where do you see the limits regarding scaling in Germany? How many products can a person reasonably manage? Thought about 20 products at the same time. You can reasonably manage a lot more than you think, Thorben. I mean, when you have VAs and you train them well, right, for inventory, forecast management, it's not as hard as you think. Amazon makes it so much more possible. Imagine trying to do this with a warehouse, right? That would be incredibly difficult. You'd have to hire employees, you'd have to train, you'd have to deal with overturn, right, or turnover. So Amazon makes this incredibly easier than it's ever been at any point in history to do it, and you can do a lot more than you think by yourself, especially with a couple well-trained virtual assistants. Kanessa, ask your question again. Sorry, there's so many questions on YouTube. I'm trying to answer them, but they're coming really fast. Do you need to keep the same seller name if we have 4 or 5 different products? You don't have to, right? I recommend having 2 different seller accounts, right? One for your brand that you love and care about and want to expand exactly, the horizontally. Like think Nike, sporting goods, clothing. That is a brand. And then you want to have one seller essential account where you have, a bunch of just high margin products. So you have a toaster. You also have a garlic press. You have, a toilet seat, whatever. So you can have a bunch of different stuff just depending on what's profitable. Is it possible to compete with Amazon in the same listing? You don't want to compete with Amazon in the actual same listing, but the same niche is definitely possible. Amazon doesn't love their products. They don't care about it. They don't respond to customers on their reviews, right? And so you can compete against Amazon in the same niche very well, actually, because Amazon just doesn't have the capacity to care and love their products like we do. I'm going to switch back to... Hey, Amy. Oh, nice. I saw you join the course actually this morning. One more time, Jungle Scout versus Market Intelligence. Market Intelligence has one cool feature that Jungle Scout doesn't currently have, and I'm actually gonna text Greg right now. So Market Intelligence has a feature that says how many units you have to give away to reach page 1, and it's obviously in the beta. It's not super accurate, but it is important to note that they have that cool feature that Jungle Scout doesn't currently have, right? So the infinite scroll feature, I'm going to talk to Greg about adding so we don't have to press extract page a million times on the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, and also the giveaways. Jungle Scout, Amy, is much more accurate as far as products, right? It has the most expansive product database. It has the most expansive options as far as filtering, but the Market Intelligence is probably the best second competitor. In second place, Jungle Scout is still absolutely the best product out there. My question is about product bundling, and specifically from 2 different suppliers. I may have to do that with my first product. Yeah, so the best way to do this, Kanessa, I've answered this question a bunch of times, is ship from your manufacturer you trust less to your manufacturer you trust more, have your manufacturer you trust more, assemble the bundle of the products, and then ship to Amazon as a final product, right? Both items go into one box with one UPC, one product listing, right? And you ship like that. And you're welcome, Amy. I'm gonna jump back to the student course. And Amy, if you have more questions, or if any students on the YouTube page have more questions, come into the Brown Belts group. That's where I'm gonna be answering all the main questions. Tanner's course is a ripoff compared to Kevin's. Agreed. Tanner is a yeah. So as a beginner, how long did it take you between product launches? I simultaneously launched 7 products at once. Like I spent $6,100 on my very first ever Amazon launch, and I simultaneously launched 7 different products, and I got to $1,000 a day in about 3 days. So I always recommend that. Why would you have money just sitting in your bank account making less than 1%, right? When you could be investing in products where you're making, 30, 40, 50, 60% profit margin. It doesn't make sense to me. You're right. Keep enough money in your bank to live, and then invest the rest of it into products that you're doing due diligence on and are going to work. But you already had some experience with Amazon FBA. No, Emily. I'm talking about when I first started, my very first ever launch. Do you ever ask for specific price up front, or always wait to leverage other quotes? I always ask for price. If I'm talking to 10 different manufacturers, hey, 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I have about 10 more minutes left. So I'm gonna try to get through everything. What are your thoughts on electronic and electrical products, Jeff? I mean, I personally stay away from them. They have probably the highest return rates of anything, of any product category on Amazon, because somebody can't figure out how to connect it to their Wi-Fi router. So, somebody says it arrives broken. There's battery issues. There's different there's different hoops you have to jump through as far as import laws. There's just a lot of complexity, and there's also a lot of competition. The scummiest of the scum sellers on Amazon are the electronics, right? So you see undercutting, you see 100 hijackers on one listing, all undercutting each other to the point where they have no margin whatsoever. I always suggest staying away. I'm finding some great product options. I just need more capital to launch them. Just wanted to say that just wanted to say that for anyone who thinks it's saturated. Yeah, it's absolutely not saturated. I mean, yeah, you guys tell everyone who says it's saturated that it is, right? Because we want to keep it for ourselves. It's absolutely the farthest thing from saturated. Is your girlfriend camera shy? Jazz, come out here. They're asking about you. Um, Amazon just delivered. Maybe she is camera shy. Yeah, maybe we'll introduce her in a little bit, but she's a little nervous because there's a lot of people watching. How do we get a ninja shirt? Oh, you like the ninja shirt, Leslie? Wait, I can't. Let me see if I can see it. So I actually gave away a couple of these for like a little contest I did. Nick, I'm sure you're probably watching right now. So Nick and one other guy, Ryan, won the two shirts that I had for the competition. I just asked like a ridiculous question in our 20,000 person group. So go ahead and find the immortal snail question if you want to try to win a shirt. But I will be giving away shirts to people soon. So just yesterday I had like kind of an interesting idea to create like a Ninja Hall of Fame. And so for everyone who's part of the course, right, who gets to the $1,000 a day mark in gross sales, right, not profit. We're just talking about revenue here. Every single person who gets to $1,000 a day gets a place in the Ninja Hall of Fame. It's going to be a website page that I'm hosting, right? It's going to have like a little picture of the ninja who did it. It's going to have a little description, about when they started, how long it took them to get to $1,000 a day. And so everybody who gets to that $1,000 a day mark, just message our support at officialkevindavid.com and with a screenshot of your sales, and we will get you added to the Ninja Hall of Fame, and you'll forever live in immortality in that amazing Ninja Hall of Fame. Customs duties. Is there a set percentage or all variables? Haven't seen it yet in the full course. Custom duties, Christopher, are based on the valuation of your products, right? So what you pay. And there's no set percent, right? Because different product categories have different percentages. So you can just go to a customs duties estimator. Just Google search customs duties estimator, put in what your product is, find the associated category, type in, what your product value is, and that's the product you're paying, your cost of goods sold, right? Not what you're going to sell it for. Your cost of goods sold into the customs duties calculator, and you'll be able to find it. I'm actually going to make a note right now that I should add that. Okay. Products with no experience. Didn't that cost you a ton in MOQ cost per items? Most suppliers that offer a good price won't go lower than 500. And it seems like you need that much anyways if you're going to do a giveaway. Do you agree? Yeah, I mean, I talk about how to estimate how many products you should buy, right? It's basically you take your giveaway budget, you take how many the top people already in that niche are selling per day, the average, right? And then you multiply that average by 180 days because you don't ever want to go over long-term storage, right? So if they're selling 10 per day for 180 days, then you're going to buy 1,800 units plus your giveaway, right? Plus how many that you allocate for your giveaway. So if they're selling 10 per day, you want to give away 12 per day or 11 per day for 7 days. So you do 77 plus the initial 180-day margin, and that's how many you feel comfortable buying once you've done your due diligence. Is there an issue with importing products that have built-in batteries? I stay away from batteries, Andrew. There's so many options out there that you don't need. You don't need to mess around with lithium-ion batteries and all the extra hoops you have to jump through associated with that. Oh snap! Hi, Jazz. Yeah, Jazz says hi. No, Jazz says hi. They're talking about you. You should send all of your students ninja shirts. I should send all of my students ninja shirts, Emily. That's true. I want to save them for like special stuff though, like for little contests and fun little giveaways that we run. I need a ninja hat. Yeah, Nick, you definitely do need a ninja hat, so you should do something else for me, and maybe I'll get you one. Hi, Kev. During your initial launch ever, did you use all PPC and all the tricks you preach in your course? Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know all of them then, Bentley, but I knew some of them. Joe Hazelton, and get a shirt for the $1,000 day club. That's a interesting one. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Okay, how about this, guys? Everybody who gets the $1,000 a day club into the Ninja Hall of Fame, I will send you a T-shirt. All right. Is there anything in Amazon TOS that is making it harder to include ebooks? Yeah, I mean, Josh, they added the opt out, right? So anyone on Amazon now can opt out of third-party seller emails, which is why we're getting all those thousands of emails, or however many you're selling, right? You're getting a bunch of emails saying this customer has opted out of receiving emails, so you can't deliver the ebook because they have opted out, and so you can't attach it as an attachment to your follow-up campaigns, and so that's a little bit harder. Just curious, how old are you, Kevin? I'm 27, but my birthday is actually pretty soon, so almost 28. How do you find the HS code for a prospective product? The HS code. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Andrew. Add me to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Nick, send it to our support, and I'll add you. With love. Lithium can't go air, neither can ping pong balls in mass quantity, right? Because of pressure. That's a great point, Christopher. I heard about people getting magnets stopped at customs. Yeah, I mean, like I said on the last Q&A, Amazon's so terrible about certain things. Like, if you look at the little magnetic balls that are like a toy, it doesn't say anything about it being gated, right? It has great numbers, and then you ship in your, 500 units of little magnetic balls for toys, and then Amazon shuts your listing down and says, you're not allowed to sell this on Amazon, but there's like 100 other people selling it on Amazon currently, and you're like, what the hell? So I always suggest, guys, listen up. I always suggest before buying a product, before investing in a product, message Amazon seller support with an ASIN of a currently selling product related to your product and say, hey, is there any type of restriction to sell this product for me specifically? And then get in writing for them saying, yes, you can, or no, you can't sell this product. It's so much better than shipping 500 units into Amazon and then having Amazon say, by the way, you can't sell this. Seems like there's a market for ninja shirts. Someone make that listing. Yeah, you guys. Oh, what a great idea, Thu. Maybe I'll make that into my merch, into one of my merch by Amazon listings, and I'll make it as cheap as possible. My first goal will be to get a ninja shirt then. Good, Leslie. Hey, you guys, I love all of my students. I want to send out 1 million shirts, so everyone get there, please. Launching in 50 days, and my ish is going to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah, I bet. Is beauty worth getting ungated in? Absolutely. I mean, getting ungated in beauty and grocery, you immediately remove 50 to 75% of your competition, right? Because most people won't know how, first of all, to get into beauty, and then even more people won't want to pay what it costs to get ungated, right? And so you just have so much less competition immediately, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, so one more question. We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. Let's take our last question in the Brown Belts group, and then we're going to say goodbye, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful, amazing Sunday. So one more question. Are you on Adderall? No. Just became a ninja, Kev. I wear XL for my black belt. Thanks, Maine. Yeah, get to that $1,000 a day mark, Jason, and I'd be more than happy to send you out a delicious ninja shirt and add you to the Ninja Hall of Fame. So last question here, guys. He's on Ninja Raw. All right, Nick. Good idea. Focus on products that run out and the customers will need to buy more soon. Customers will consume your product and keep buying more. Yeah, I mean, consumables is a great idea, right? But most consumable type products is like beauty or grocery, right? And so you need to be ungated to be able to, sell in the consumable space. But, subscribe and save is a great, you always want customers to buy from you again. It's 100 times easier selling a product to a customer that you've already sold a product to, right, than getting a brand new customer. That's marketing 101. It's 1,000,000 times easier to sell a second product to a customer than to get that first initial sale. What's your 5-year goal, Emily? Okay, guys, this is my last question. My 5-year goal is just to do exactly what I'm doing. I want to help 10,000 people quit their job and be able to live the life that they always knew that they could and that they deserved. And I want people to, never be dreading going to work on a Sunday ever again for the rest of their lives. That is what I want. I'm extremely happy. My businesses are doing very well. It's never going to be like a financial issue for me again. It's literally just about helping people at this point. If I can free 10,000 people from corporate slavery in 5 years, then I would be the happiest ninja in the world. All right, guys. So thank you so much for our Q&A number 4. I hope that helped. I tried to get to everyone's answers. I got to every single question in the student group, so I'm really happy about that. I will post the replay of this video in the student groups, and then again on YouTube and in the Facebook page, so everybody can rewatch it. But I hope you guys enjoyed joining live so I can answer your specific questions, and we will see you next time. So enjoy the rest of your beautiful Sunday, and I'll see all of you amazing people very soon.